If you were really thinking about grabbing that M7 CL48 ES mixer that we looked at in episode 19 in Chicago, here's some stage boxes to go with it. So here are 3 of the ES168 stage boxes. Those are EtherSound, and it says that they are priced per unit, 3 available, and obviously they work with the M7, and they are tested and work fine. $500 a piece. They're hard to find if you need them. That's not terrible. Certainly a lot cheaper than they were new. We're in Addison, Illinois with a conference mic system from Bosch. And I've been out of the corporate and hotel AV world for a good little while now. Are y'all still running conference systems like this, or are you just using a high channel count digital console and sending it with individual mics? Let me know what you're using, because a few years back, something like this would have been a very good system to own, and you could have made quite a bit of money, and maybe that's still the case. These Bosch systems are very versatile when it comes to doing breakout rooms and turning rooms over quickly and reconfiguring things. These make it very easy. So let's have a look. They have 100 complete systems, and they're asking $100 each, or make an offer for the whole lot. So you're starting at $10,000 there, and you can make an offer if you wanted the whole thing. And they've got them in these nice cases. You would assume it's all working, or they would have said something, but it looks like it's been used and maintained professionally by sound company in the area. You can see their trailer back here, maybe with some advertising on it. So yeah, they do have the main units for these. I don't know if they've included that. If you were just to give them 10 grand for the whole thing, if they would give you these and the cases and everything, or what the breakout would be on price. But again, these look like they're in okay shape. A little bit rough on a few with the paint coming off. And you can see they've bought some of these at least out of PSAV's old inventory. So these have definitely lived a long life, but that doesn't mean they couldn't still make you some good money doing corporate breakout rooms and conferences and things like that in the future. What do you think about those for $100 a piece, or 10 grand for the whole kit? Could you get out and make some money with these in your area still, or are you doing something completely different for conference systems nowadays? We got a MixerMachine, $700, and I don't know what in the world could have possibly happened to this thing, other than maybe it was just stored outside in a garage like we can see here. Because yeah, there's like mildew on all these drum cases. Man, this stuff's been in some sort of water related incident. $700, even if this thing was mint, would be aggressive. Seems to still power up, so fair play there, but dang, what a mess. Must be something going on with the Digidesign Focusrite, folks, because here's another Control 24. This one for $950, in slightly better condition. It looks like that whatever material they put on the armrest of these just spoils no matter what condition. Oh, and this one's been dropped. Wow, $950, and it has been irreparably dropped there. That's, geez. What in the world are these people thinking with these controllers that they're trying to get so much money for them in such bad condition? Goodness. Is there something about these controllers that I don't know, why they should be close to $1,000 looking like they literally fell off the back of a garbage truck? Because these people that own them seems to be very, very ambitious about what they go for. The listing here says local pickup or best offer considered. Plastic cracked on diagonal corners. 2 silver buttons missing. 1 black button missing. First come, first serve. And that's in Schaumburg, Illinois. Schaumburg? This one's in Buffalo, Missouri. A Turbosound Manchester rig with amps marked down from $76,000 to $56,000. Take a look at the photos while I read through the listing. Dual 12-inch full-size variable curvature line array element for touring and install applications, and dual 15-inch vented bandpass subwoofer for touring and installation applications. Includes 12 tops, 2 fly bars, 10 dual 15-inch subwoofers, 3 Lab Gruppen PLM 1244K, a TC Electronics speaker processor, 3 Wharfdale Pro power amps, model WD-DP4120 for the subs. Those are 2,040 watts per channel. They've got carts for the tops. All the subs have casters. No racks, no cables, no power distro. Will deliver within 500 miles of Springfield, Missouri. Pickup or freight at your expense. So some of these are stock photos. Those are the fly bars. I think we just saw the Manchester cabinets go by there. Yeah, those are the tops there, and then the subs. I have not seen a Manchester rig in person personally. That's another one of those where I'm just not in the right market where Turbosound is the most popular. They certainly are very popular in other parts of the world. And this system looks pretty clean. They definitely look like they've been taken care of. There's nothing crazy jumping out at me so far. If you see anything, definitely let me know. And then this amp rack, which it sounds like doesn't come with the rack. So you get the 3 lab Gruppen amps, the TC Electronics, the Wharfdale amps, but not the power distro, not the rack, and no cabling. And maybe they're thinking that the chances of this being what you need are pretty minimal, so you might as well roll your own or bring in your own power solution. So yeah, Turbosound Manchester rig, 56 grand for 12 tops and 10 subs plus amps. And if you have any opinions about the Manchester rig and if this is an appropriate way to power them, I'm not sure I've ever seen lab Gruppen amps and Wharfdale amplifiers in the same system, let alone the same rack as each other. So it's hard to believe the QL5 has been around as long as they have been. I feel like these just came out recently, but they are getting up there a little bit, and I'm starting to see more of the QL consoles on the secondhand market as people upgrade, rightfully so, to the newer stuff that Yamaha has put out. So 9 grand, there's only just the video, which, bonus points for this listing for them turning it on and showing a video of it booting up and not doing anything wacky. That's awesome. Great listing there. 9 grand, we're in Downers Grove, Illinois for a QL5. Be interested to know your thoughts about a used QL5 for that kind of money, because by all reasonable standards, that's a very nice console. I'll piggyback on that one with this QL1 mixer for only 5 grand in Evanston, Illinois. Like new, willing to negotiate price for the right person. Fair deal on, again, arguably a very capable, very modern console that I have a hard time believing are as old as they actually are. And again, they've kept this listing very short and to the point, but huge bonus points for just making a video showing the console booting up and doing what it's supposed to do. That answers more questions than like 2 paragraphs could. You can see the console doing what it's supposed to do and not making any crazy noises or failing any fader calibrations. Love that. Good listing. This is going to be a tough sale at $1,700 because they might have more value in the R&R Doghouse case here than the actual LS9, and I'll tell you why. In the listing, it says that they're selling their Yamaha LS932 digital mixer in very good condition. Remember that. Perfect for live sound or studio applications. We're the only owner. Board was purchased new. So on and so forth. Comes with this nice R&R Doghouse flight case with casters. And the case does look really nice here. We can see it's a very beefy case. The case, I would imagine, weighs more than the LS9. Having owned one of those, they are not very heavy on their own. And this case looks massive. Yeah, really good R&R case. You could definitely trust that that's going to keep the mixer safe. Beautiful doghouse on the back with quick release latches. Yeah, R&R makes great stuff. You can see how accessible R&R's doghouses are. They're not the typical flimsy, just the top lid affairs that you get on a lot of cases these days. So here's our first look at the console up close, and we've gotten to the part of the listing where they say a few things to mention. You remember up top where they said it was in very good condition? What's going on here? We've got stereo encoders broken off, so those need replacements, and we need to figure out if anything underneath this section in the underlying PCB that these other encoders are on is also broken. And I would imagine what's happened here, because this is a pretty common thing on these mixers, when you get a case that's as heavy as these are, it is very, very easy when you're swinging the case over the top to clip a couple of those knobs and it just shears them right off. The case lids on these things are very heavy and they just have a lot of inertia when you're swinging them over if you're not being careful. Output 16 has also stopped working, so we need more component level work around back to figure out what's going on there. Fader bank 1 through 8 started to get sticky. Note, there is a fader calibration feature built in which clears the issue. That's only temporary, so we need a bank of 8 faders at least, and if you're in there doing those 8 and replacing encoders and trying to figure out what output 16's doing, you might as well do all the faders or just buy a different console. Minimal cosmetic wear. It looks like it's been repainted because, again, they've hit the armrest, putting the case lid on and off so many times that they've gone through the paint. Yeah, I think the value there is in the case, not so much the LS9, and that is definitely not what I would consider to be very good condition. But let me know if you think I'm wrong. This system is in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. It's a turnkey Electro-Voice line array system, an XLC X12 128 TGX20 Dynacord Electro-Voice EV. I'll read as you have a look. For sale. Only selling as we are moving to a different line array system. We will palletize and ship anywhere in the USA, Europe, Canada, or Australia. That is very nice of them to be willing to do all that. Subs are a 9 out of 10 condition. Only a pair of them have ever left the carts. These are 4 years old. TGX racks are basically brand new condition and have had padded covers since day one. XLC is in really nice shape for its age. We always took care of this gear. So they've got 12 of the X12 128 at $9,200 a pair, sold as pairs with their touring carts. They've got 4 of the TGX 20 racks, $28,000 each, sold per rack and come with padded covers. 3 of the 4 are 3 years or less old. 1 of them is only a year old. 24 of the XLC 127 DVX at $1,200 each, sold in packs of 4 at $4,800 with a touring cart. They say take them all and I will toss in flying grids and ground stack kits. Nice. They've got an MFX 15 MC monitor package at $26,700. The monitor package will come with 6 mint condition wedges and the IPX amp rack with distro, panels, etc. Turnkey monitor rig. Will consider splitting off the wedges from the rack if desired. Then there's a front of house rack for $4,900, and that's a 12U rack with a rack mount distro, a battery backup, a Cisco SG350 switch, and a Dynacord MXE5 matrix processor. And those are currently set up with 3 LRSF console inputs, that's left, right, sub, and fill, and then 4 Dante LRSF drive with 4 analog redundant outputs. And that, again, is in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. So very, very nice, clean photos that I've been watching go by in my peripheral vision here as I was reading. And if you saw anything that jumped out as unusual or in need of attention, let me know. But this looks pretty squeaky clean to me. I'd definitely be interested to know why they're switching away from the system, if they're not pleased with its performance, or if they've just had a need for something else all of a sudden to meet a contract and they just need to free up the capital. Who knows? I definitely believe them when they say this has barely been used, because it hardly looks like they've been out of the warehouse. So yeah, they must be really good in their warehouse, because there's a picture of the entire thing on dirt. And this system certainly doesn't look like it's ever seen a gig on dirt like that before. So they are doing an excellent job of maintaining this stuff. And they're just running a really professional shop up here in Chippewa Falls by the looks of things. That looks like the drive rack there with the Cisco switches and the Dynacord system processor and the Cyber Power backup. Is that an intercom system above that? I don't know if that's included. Doesn't look like it. And they really went to town on these panels and the blanking panels. And again, they've done a really nice job with the patch panels here. If you have never worked for this company before, it would not take very much effort at all to figure out what's going on with this patch panel, since it is so well labeled. If you've got any experience with these wedges specifically, let us know how they compare to the more common wedges that we see out there these days. These wedges certainly look the part, but until you get them out on a real stage, it's hard to make a judgment on how a wedge really performs. So originally they had this listed at $210,000, but it obviously looks like they're willing to break the system up and negotiate. So it could be a good deal for somebody if you're able to work out the right price. Here's an interesting one. I always like to throw in a vintage console or two, just so we can all learn a little bit about stuff we don't see that often. And this is a vintage ADM console, 16 by 4 by 2. And they're asking $6,000, marked down from $12,000 in Seattle, Washington. And this is an amazing sounding console on the level of API and Quad 8. 4-band inductor EQs, discrete mic pre's would make a great front end to a Pro Tools studio. Needs I/O to be wired up. I can have I/O wired for an extra charge. So that's all we get as far as information goes. So if you know anything about these ADM consoles and what their pedigree is and where they came from and who may have used them, definitely let us know in the comments. It's hard to see here on the ADM Technologies. That's all it says there. And it certainly looks like some high quality stuff, if that's what the modules all look like. So yeah, I thought I would throw that one in there just in case anybody here recognizes it and has any interesting stories about ADM Technologies consoles.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
This system is in Florence, Alabama, and it's a DB Technologies, not to be confused with D&B. This is a DB Technologies VIO L1610, is that right? VIO L1610 line array speaker modules, 3-way 96K, all wood cabinet, only a couple months old, great condition, basically new. L1610, $39.99 each. Carts are $1,200 each. Cover, $100 each. Full cart of 4, setup total, $17,296. Not immediately clear if these got more of these or if this is just he's just got a set of 4 of these he doesn't need anymore, I guess. Anybody out there with the VIO system? Let us know in the comments what you think of this one. Check this out in Spokane Valley, Washington. We got a Yamaha M3000A-400. This is a 40-channel mixing console, and they're asking $1,200, and it looks to be in very nice condition. Looking at this first photo, I'll read. Everything works. This board is in mint condition, manual included, comes with lighting, 1500-watt rack mount amplifier, and manual. I'm assuming they mean the power supply there. Perfect recording studio board or for a church. I would love to keep it, but I have a small house and just no room for it. Me too. And oh boy, they've set the power supply on the output section knobs. That's a terrible idea. Don't ever do this. That's really a bad idea. Wow. They just set that whole power supply that weighs a lot right on the output section controls. Jeez. But at least they have the power supply and the correct cable. That's something. There's the rear panel. It looks like they have had it connected up. I don't know. Did they show it powered on in that first couple of photos? Yeah, it looks like it's powered on there. Very good. Check that box. There's the input section. Looks like pretty standard stuff. You got direct out, you got unbalanced inserts, and an XLR. So you've got 16 mix outs, 8 matrix outs, then a number of other stereo and monitor output buses. There are also inserts on all of those mix buses too. This photo looks like it may have been taken when it was in for service, unless they have a heck of a lot of rack gear as well in the background, wherever they store this console. And there we can really see it all lit up, and the VU meters are all lit up, and it really does look like it was well maintained. This has a MIDI section in the middle for some rudimentary recallability on certain parameters. So yeah, $1,200. I'm not sure if anybody would really be into these. There's so many other analog consoles out there if you're going to go to the trouble of owning and housing and maintaining and powering one of these. I just don't know if every one of these is going to find a forever home in the future.
KNME-TV now concludes its broadcast day.
So thanks again for spending your time with me looking at these listings. If you want to help this series grow, just share these videos anywhere you can online with your audio communities. That's something that I just can't do. And if you want to watch these videos with no ads at all, that starts at just $1 a month over on my Patreon. I hope to see you over there.